Welcome to the High Ground Podcast. I'm Stevie.
And Callum.
And, so this is, I'm currently watching Game of Thrones for the first time. Just finished seasons 3 and 4.
God,
Pardon?
God, what a virgin.
Yeah. Well, I always thought that show was, the first 2 seasons especially, the show, I think, was made for virgins, or for, this is male and female, because the amount of nudity from male and female that was in it was a bit excessive. But it seems to be as the seasons progress, there's less of it.
Yeah, there's definitely less.
And season 4, there was hardly any. I know season 3, you still see Emilia Clarke's hoo-hoos. And, but, yeah, it's, the first 2 seasons was like blood, guts, gore, language, sex, and nudity, but it seems to be like
basically what HBO do all the time.
Or just throw a shitload of gore in it and then just like go, oh, we've got the audience now, and all the actresses have basically put nudity clauses in their contracts now, even though we always. I don't get it, right? There's one thing I don't understand. What's the difference between getting your kit off in the first few seasons and suddenly deciding that you don't want people to see you naked after that when they've already seen it? Where's the
because you're a credible actor now.
But you've already done it. People can see that you've already done it, and it's on the film forever. You can't exactly say, "Can you please take the nudity out of the show?" But you're like, no, what you signed up for. But
I always kind of got annoyed when people said like, "Oh, it's just shagging all the time," and I think, well, like, yeah, the first 2 seasons, like especially season 1, there is quite a lot of nudity, and like, but it's also like you go the other way, and then you're just in Tolkien territory where no one fucks at all on Middle Earth. Where all these people came from?
You know? You say Tolkien. I was going to get a little bit ahead. Tolkien, yeah. But coming soon, Beavis and Butthead. I just wanted to get that in there. Yeah, they're doing a Beavis and Butthead movie. So, one of the last episodes of season 4, where it's all set in, is it the Dark Tower or the Black Gate, the wall, the guards?
Oh, Castle Black.
Yeah, and it felt, and you had the big giants, and you had the elephants, the mammoths, and all I was thinking was Lord of the Rings. Yes.
Yeah, there is a certain point where, but I think it's done well in Game of Thrones, where the gradual return of magic and mythical creatures comes back, because the dragons are sort of in the background in the first few seasons because they're only young. But I think I like the idea that the magic slowly comes back to this world, and the idea that it was gone from the world to start with. I think that's quite good, because then you can go for a more political style fantasy like the one we got, where it's more based on the kings of England and than it is Lord of the Rings. Because I mean the inevitable comparison is always, I don't really want to watch Game of Thrones because it's like Lord of the Rings, isn't it? No, it's nothing like Lord of the Rings. For a start, you can turn it off.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings was actually shorter, and bearing in mind that this was a payback. This Lord of the Rings was a payback. Not Lord of the Rings, yeah, that was a payback as well. Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones have been payback viewings, and it's, to me, I don't do that sort of thing, and but there's some characters I like, some characters I really don't like, and I find Emilia Clarke's character at the moment, like I said, I've just started season 5, but I feel like she could be cut and I wouldn't notice it.
Yeah, I think season 5 is like the season where a lot of fans sort of thought, well, like this is the first season where it's not awful, but it's the first one where everyone was like not as good as the other ones, like writing wise and that. I mean, how far in are you?
About 2 or 3 episodes. But
yeah, so you're starting to see, yeah. But no, I mean when you get into 6 and 7, that's it picks way the fuck up again. Like, so that's the thing about Game of Thrones, that the quality of writing, it's not up and down. It just follows like these huge chunks of greatness for a while, and then there's like a dodgy season, and then back to great again. They learn the lessons, or unless you're a little hater of season 8, but we'll get there when we get there.
I've seen the ending of the last episode, because when the
Yeah.
boss, but she was watching it as I was in, and the last scene, which I know what it is, there is a logic to it. From what I've been watching, with the kid becoming the king. To me, there's a logic to it, which goes back to, is it season? I think it's season 3 or 4, the one where you see Brienne of Tarth, Gwendolyn Christie, in the you see her naked from behind. You see her Brienne of Tarth naked from behind, and you go, the one actress I'd like to actually see naked because she's in Star Wars has a body double. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, they've got everybody else naked. All the other women go naked, but all the ones that are legal age go naked. But you've got her, the one I would pay to see. That I would be like, yeah, she's getting into. I'm pretty certain they're using a body double.
You know when there's a body double because they go behind.
Yeah, and
everyone else sort of just does it.
Yeah, I found that the Kingslayer, his arc, I did like his arc. I think his character's good. How you find out why he stabbed the other king in the back, the political motivation, and how he's one of the nice guys. And his arc, I like what I've seen so far of him. I mean, he's still alive in season 5. I know he obviously doesn't make it, because you look at the when you see how many episodes he goes, such and such episodes. I like his arc. I think that I also like forgot his name. The small one.
Oh, Tyrion.
Yeah, I like him. Him and how he. I liked his arc where, he kills his. You've got to watch Game of Thrones if you're listening to this. Kills his dad and kills the wife. He kills the woman that betrayed him, because even though he was doing everything was right, he was the nice guy, but he got screwed over. And his buddy, was it Robson Jerome? Yeah. I like him and his Podrick, and how he's always looking out for his friends and he's looking out for his family.
Yeah, Podrick's a great character. Yeah. He sort of figures a lot later as well as being this guy that's just wholly good and there's no bad in him whatsoever, and it's quite rare to see that. I think that's one of the great things I think about Game of Thrones is, and it's something Martin brings from the books, is that no one's completely one way or the other. There's Jaime is an asshole, like to the point of a child murdering, incestuous asshole, but you can't help but like him when you get to season 3 and he loses his hand and he's this pitiful shell of the guy he used to be. That used to be the greatest sword fighter in the world, and now he's like second fiddle to Brienne. I mean, who is great, but for him to think, oh, I'm second fiddle to a woman, that would kill Jaime Lannister. And I like the fact that they go there with that. That the whole mantra that sometimes bad people do good things, and sometimes good people do bad things. That's human nature. There's no like dividing line between good and evil. I mean, there is, but you straddle either side in real life a lot of the time anyway. So that's what I like about this. Traditional fantasy is very black and white, and there is Sauron and the Fellowship of the Ring. That's it. But with this, you have the sort of also like Catelyn Stark is a good example of this. She's a good guy, but she's made some shitty decisions in the past that border on child abuse.
But the bad decision that the Kingslayer made was when he threw the kid from the wall, crippled him. But that was to protect himself.
Yeah.
But finding out that he murdered the king and he did all these things to save thousands. There's and his loyalty to his brother and everything, and his arc is what I've seen so far is good. Is it season 3 or season 4 where they capture the Iron, whatever his name is, Rob Stark's.
Oh, Theon, Theon. I think it's end of season 2. He gets captured, and then the 3rd season is about him being tortured by Ramsay.
Yeah, Ramsay, who I know from Inhumans. What a bastard!
Yeah, you think Joffrey's bad?
Yeah,
this guy.
that was evil, and I
Did you like Joffrey dying, by the way?
yeah, I want to come to that.
That's fine.
I want to come to that. But Ramsey was he was an arse, but he plays it well, and
he's a lot more well-rounded than Joffrey. I think Joffrey's a sort of like spoiled child villain, where he's like, no, I want it this way. Whereas Ramsey is like, he's totally there just to enjoy your pain.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit sadistic. I mean, very sadistic, but I thought it was a bit. It didn't sit well with me because I thought that it was kind of I don't know how to describe this. It was evil, but evil for the sake of evil, and it was the pleasure that he was getting from it was he's a real piece of crap, and he played it well.
I mean, really he's a lot better in the books. He's sort of quite one-dimensional, and you don't really see him that much. But in the series, he has this sort of almost mythical background more, and I think you sort of see, his dad hates the fact that he's probably a bit more famous than he is. Because the Boltons are famed for being this cruel northern family that skins people. I mean, it's on their flag. But the biggest talking point from where we were last time, so we went season 1 and 2 last time, we're doing 3, 4. The Red Wedding.
Oh, yeah, you said it. You said you're gonna. I love David Bradley. I think he's just.
Oh.
But in that, he's a piece of crap.
He is, yeah.
The character.
But he plays it so good.
Oh yeah, it's I met him a few years ago, and you couldn't meet a nicer guy. He was absolutely superb. But when he plays bad, he plays bad.
Yeah.
Brilliantly, and it was like, wow. I was blown away. But I mean, I think he's brilliant. He played a bad guy in one of the Doctor Who episodes, Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, but there's bad, and then there's that, and I was like, wow. And it's a testament. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be gushing all over David Bradley but he is.
No, he's fucking good, isn't he? I mean, he's evil in a way that even surpasses Ramsey. Because the fact that he breaks the sacred thing of not killing a guest under your roof, which is like that goes back to ancient Greece, where no matter who it was, if you gave them sanctuary, then that was a sacred right that the gods would punish with so much anger. And I just like I like the fact that they sort of draw, like, Westeros is this world of like Greek myth and medieval Europe. It's everything blended together, and I really like it. And this whole medieval thing about killing people at feasts, that is an actual event that happened a lot of the time, because it was the only time you get people together in one place. And it's shot so well as well. I mean, like, you go back outside on the final episode of that season to where the camp's being all like destroyed by Frey's men, and you just think, fuck, what happened here?
Yeah. It was good. I was like, jeez, what about? And Joffrey, another sadistic little shit.
Yeah, I can't stand him.
He's played well though. He plays.
He is. Yeah, that's the thing. All these guys that play arseholes, they're all like apparently the nicest guys you could ever meet in your life. But I just find it so strange.
I thought he was. I kind of miss him now he's gone, because he played it, killing the prostitutes with his with his arrow, and the way he treated his uncle. And
I love that. I love that moment though when he gets poisoned and he's basically screaming in his face to Neil, and he just won't do it.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have seen, like, if he hadn't have choked to death, would he have knelt in the end? Or I don't think he would have.
No. But I was like, listen, it was very, it was like, it was very sadistic, and but it helps you. It did aid in disliking the character, really disliking.
Yeah.
But again, it's all. I mean, a writer can write the words, but if the actor can't pull it off, you just come across as crap. But they did pull it off, both of them. They and another one, Bern Gorham, who was he's one of the with the I can't remember the character he plays, but he was one of the Night's Watch lot that defected in that. village.
the one that takes over Craster's keep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's in
yeah,
Torchwood.
yeah. He's an asshole and everything, like.
Yeah. But I was like, he's in Torchwood. I was like, Jesus Christ, another Doctor Who actor.
He's in the Dark Knight Rises as well, I
He
think.
is, yeah. And I was like, geez. They do have a lot of Doctor Who people. And the battle...
He has one of the best lines in the whole show when Craster says, the next man that calls me a bastard is gonna, like, I'll kill them. And he goes, you are a daughter fucking bastard.
Yeah. Oh.
I just love that everyone says bastard so funny in that show.
Oh, he's good. And, being, liking Torchwood, it was like, yeah. And what's the other thing? The battle between, the Hound and Brienne.
Oh, Brienne, yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Okay, I want to go to a bit of spoiler territory here. Yeah. So, spoilers. Is that the Hound really dead?
Well, you don't want to know, surely, do you?
I think I saw him in the last episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you think you saw him?
I think I saw him at the end.
Stone face.
Well, okay. Because I like... what's the actor's name, sorry?
Rory McCann.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Do you know what cracks me up with the Hound is, I think it's the first episode of season 4, actually, when they come upon the guys that's got Arya's sword and needle.
Yeah.
And she's sort of like, oh, there's Needle. And he goes, what the fuck's Needle? Oh, it's my sword. What, you named your sword? Yeah, lots of people name their swords. Yeah, lots of cunts.
Yeah. Oh.
I love him. He's so great.
He is. And every time I see him on the screen, all I go is yarp.
Yarp, yeah. Well, all I ever say now is, what, are you going to die over a chicken? Someone is.
Yeah. Oh, he's got that spark about him. Him and Gwendolyn.
He's great.
Yeah.
I saw a t-shirt actually with him on it, and it says "Fuck the King" on it.
Yeah.
I just want it so bad.
Closest to it.
But I mean, even the Hound's got, like, he's an arsehole, isn't he? But he has that sort of code of decency deep down, the fact that he's looking after Arya.
Yeah.
And there is this, like, sort of honor within him that he doesn't like Joffrey, or he hates. I mean, there's nobody hates more than his brother, is there?
Yeah. That was a bit... His brother killing off the Mando. That was like, ooh.
That's a nasty one, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Everyone was talking about that one for a long time. I mean, I remember the day that episode aired, I'd already seen it, but my fiance's parents were watching it downstairs when it was on, and we were upstairs watching something in her room, and I just heard her mum going, oh, you fucker. And I thought, head's just been crushed.
I was like, they won't kill Mando. Why did they kill Mando?
It's so gutting as well, because you would have had him if he'd have just stopped being so show-offy.
Yeah. It's like, what was I watching the other day? I think it might have been for a pod. Yeah, it was Kill Bill. We were watching Kill Bill. How the move, the sword play is all precise.
Yes.
And yet effective. Yet you do see a lot of it where it is all show. And if he just literally just took him out when he had the opportunity, then
yeah.
But then again, yeah, it wouldn't have made good TV though, would it?
And it also sort of ties into the whole Dawn storyline. Well, later on, because the place where he comes from is not quite about being part of the Seven Kingdoms.
Oh.
So they're always, on the edge of rebellion, in the books and stuff. So that him dying sort of ties into all that.
Oh. And Ian Glenn, was it season 4 or season 5? At the start of it, I think it's the end of season 4, where you find out that Ian Glenn's a bastard as well. You've been spying.
Oh yeah, Dora.
Yeah.
I like that. Dora was one of my favorite characters.
I like Alfie Allen though. He was, Reek when he gets turned into Reek, and he's good in. I liked him in Jojo Rabbit. I thought he's brilliant in Jojo Rabbit.
So. He is good in that. He's in John Wick as well, isn't he?
I only saw the first one, and
he's the thug that kills the dog.
Oh, The only reason I watched it is because you got the girl out of Adrian Palicki and Dean Winters in it. That's the only reason I watched that film.
I actually forgot Dean Winters was in that film, to be honest, until you mentioned.
Yeah, it was like, all you had to do was say the Vulture was in John Wick, and they're giving it a shot ages ago because it's the Vulture. I mean, I will eventually watch the other two, but not right now. They're in it now. But yeah, Kit Harington getting it on with the wildling.
Or Egret, yeah.
Yeah.
I like a bit of Egret.
And then in real life getting it on with her. But
I like Egret. I think she's quite well written as well. You know, the fact that he's starting to fall for the enemy, and she's starting to fall for the enemy as well. You know, like they almost sort of cross sides in a mental sense. You know, as if like she's becoming more like a good character and he's becoming more like a wildling. I really like that sort of when characters go undercover. I think it's that dichotomy, isn't it, that between mindsets that makes it more interesting.
Yeah. He played it well. They did. I do like. I do like Jon Snow's story. I gravitate toward the character. I like the whole. I mean, I'm not. I like the characters whose heart's in the right place and they do the decisions for the right. But that's just me. But then again, that goes back to something I have a theory about. Especially with superhero films. But yeah.
I think that gets sort of taken advantage of a little bit in season 1 though, because you've got Ned, who's this wholly good character, who's honourable, who would do anything for his friend, who's the king, and that gets him killed in this world because there's no more room for people that are honourable.
Yeah.
The fact that he should have maybe taken Joffrey and Cersei hostage when Renly told him to, and that scene where Jaime says, "Oh, you should have just took that throne for yourself."
Yeah.
Before Robert walked in. That's a thought of that you can only survive by doing that in Westeros, and I'm quite glad I'm not in that world. But it makes for interesting relationships and.
So Joffrey was the perfect king.
Yeah.
A sadistic little bastard. So have you covered all 3 and 4? Is there anything else that we've missed out?
I can't think of it. We covered the Red Wedding, main one, I think.
Yeah.
I love when people haven't seen it before, and I'm trying my hardest not to say, "I'll wait till you get to the end of season 3."
Yeah, because I remember you and my fiance both saying about you're gonna look at David Bradley is for me he's the Doctor.
Yeah.
And of course he's brilliant in Hot Fuzz and The World's End.
Yeah.
And you've kept going on and on, and both of you about how you're gonna see him differently when you watch this. You're gonna
It's nice, but I like not saying why though, because you go through your head thinking, well, he's a dirty old man, but he hasn't done anything yet. Oh shit!
Yeah, he's a piece of crap. He is his character is, but it's I'd like to have seen him get some. I mean, I'm biased, like I said. I'd like to have seen him get some awards for his performance, but because he's and if you haven't, I mean, I'm assuming everybody that's listening to this has actually watched Game of Thrones because up and on that, because
I'll put a spoiler tag in it anyway. But
the thing is, I don't get what it's. I prefer it when you go into these sort of things. Like I said, other than the last episode, it doesn't bother me that I know who's going to win the throne at the end. It's how you get to the ending.
Yeah.
But
the journey, not the destination.
And I would like to do, after we've finished, because we've got another 2 to go, because we'll do season 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. But after that, I'm thinking this possible future podcast for us. So this is I'd like to do one on the on the last episode alone.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting actually.
And do it for an in defense of, because here at the High Ground Podcast we have a very low opinion on the fan communities, and I say communities, this is plural, not singular, that whole life is about redoing seasons or redoing films or redoing the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like breaking down the last episode as to So that's all to come. It is on the High Ground podcast, but coming next on the watch on my first watch of Game of Thrones will be seasons 5 and 6. So probably see you in about 2 weeks on that one.
Yep.
High Ground podcast, Stevie W.
Callum.